5 more minutes because we have a lot more people who registered for the event, so we need to give time to everybody to be on time to witness this meeting. So thank you all for being on time, and give us another few minutes before we can actually start. I'm going to just test sharing this, and I'm going to share my screen right now. I think you can see it. So, Carsten, do you try with this one?
Yes, so this is fine.
This is fine, okay. And when you do this, you don't, you see the presenter's view.
Yes, next, and then I just say next, and that's it. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I share it, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, then I stop share right now. And so we agree that I share the slides for you and for Kristjan, right?
Okay.
Can I just try just a second?
Okay, okay, no worries.
Okay, here's my presentation. How is now? Is it better?
I think it's good if you make a conscientious attempt to speak louder.
Okay. I will speak louder like this, if that's okay.
Good. Carsten, how do you find it?
I see it in not in the presenter mode, so but this might not be a problem.
I think he reduced his screen size to 25%, so he needs to, or just play it in full screen. That would be also good.
Yes, full screen would be needed here for people to read.
Okay.
So I see that our audience is slowly growing, but I think it should be normally our last test right now, and we should start with the webinar if Kristjan agrees. I think 5 minutes is enough.
Am I still sharing screen? Sorry.
No.
You're not sharing right now. Okay, I think we have almost 30 people with us, and they are expected to be growing, but it's good to start already because I don't want to make other people wait, those who are already here. So first of all, thank you all attendees, panelists, moderator, and partners for joining, for being here today. My name is Aseniya Dimitrova. I'm the managing editor of TheMayor.EU. That's the main organizer of the webinar today. As I hope you know, TheMayor.EU is a news media outlet with the pro-city and pro-EU stance. We're based in Bulgaria, in Sofia, and it's not by chance that the majority of you, or at least the majority of those who registered for today's event, are also from this country. At TheMayor.EU, we try to bring fresh insight into the interesting things that happen at the local and regional level in the European Union. Every day we bring stories about the contemporary challenges the EU cities face and how they approach them. So the cohesion policy and the just energy transition are among our regular topics. So if you're interested in those, and I suppose you are, since you're here with us, don't hesitate to go to TheMayor.EU for more stories and good examples. Today's webinar is also a continuation of our efforts to bring you a view on the possible solutions to the challenges, in this case related to the transition of coal mining regions, showing you several examples of success, but also examples of regions that are only now starting and are at the early stages of the process. While doing this today, we're also going to put the lens on the funding opportunities that will facilitate this transition that are provided by our main partner for today's event, that's the European Investment Bank. This is also known as the EU's bank. It is a major player as the largest multilateral borrower and lender. The bank provides finance and expertise for investment projects that contribute to furthering EU policy objectives. They have a significant contribution to growth and employment in Europe. And the activities of the bank focus on 4 priority areas: innovation and skills, access to finance for smaller business, climate action, and strategic infrastructure. Since we have a representative of the bank today who is going to speak later on today, I'm not going to give more details on what the bank is doing because you will get the chance to hear it firsthand. Another big thank you, of course, to our partners and other partners from ICLEI Europe. They are actually a long-standing partner of TheMayor.EU in different sustainability initiatives. ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, is actually a global network of more than 2,500 local and regional governments that are all committed to sustainable development. They work in more than 125 countries. They influence sustainability policy. They drive local action for low emission, nature-based, equitable, resilient, and circular development. ICLEI Europe also provides their members with a voice on European and international stages. They represent a platform to connect peers and with peers and tools to drive positive environmental, economic, and social change. I would say personally that this is the second webinar that we do today with ICLEI, and I'm very glad that once again we have their representative as a moderator. But before I give the floor to him exactly, a few housekeeping rules on my end. As you know, the webinar is going to last for 90 minutes only, so the agenda is quite tight. We have 4 speakers. We will make sure that they give you insightful presentations, but we also have some time for discussion at the end. So in the meantime, don't hesitate to put your questions in the chat. We have Valeria from ICLEI. She's our chat superhero, so she will make sure that the questions reach the speakers and the moderator. And notice that this webinar is also being recorded. We will share this on social media afterwards. We're going to share also the slides that you will see today with you all and other resources after the event. So in case you need to leave early, don't worry, you will get the most important information in one way or another. So without further ado, I would like now to introduce Carsten Rothballer. He is a senior expert at ICLEI Europe, working on climate and energy policies with profound expertise in training, sustainable energy planning and implementation, integrated management and infrastructure, resilience, risk assessment, and international networking on climate and energy issues. Carsten also supports local and regional governments in the development, improvement, and the financing of sustainable energy and climate action plans, setting up energy communities and urban infrastructure such as district heating. He is also an expert in the Just Transition platform, in the initiative for co-regions in transition, advising on capacity building of political and technical decision makers, more than relevant for today's topic, I would say. But with such a long expertise and extensive portfolio of competences, I can hardly say everything about Carsten. So Carsten, feel free to add more yourself, and I'm pleased to invite you officially to open the discussion. And once again, I thank you all for being interested in today's event, and I wish you success. Thank you.
Aseniya, thank you very much for this introduction. It makes me a bit humble. So let's continue. But very warm welcome also from my side, from the European Secretariat, ICLEI Local Governments for Sustainability, here at this webinar, looking at sizing the chance from coal ashes to solar cash. So a bit provocative, but in the core, a shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And in order to do so, I would like to set the scene with one message here for you to steady your compass for a just transition, plan it robustly, implement it strategically, monitor your implementation, and then refine the implementation that continues. Be strategic from the start until the end. All stages need to be closely looked at, governed by public administration, engaged with different stakeholders, potentially also at different stages. That is important. Second message I like to share as the opener is also the core and purpose of this webinar, to attract and retain your talent within the regions that you are coming from, coal or carbon intensive. Both, it is important to enhance the regional prospects, including empowering local skills that you have within your community that you would like to keep or build within your community. So the regional practitioners that you have at hand or not yet, involve them. Make it attractive for them to come visit your region, to provide services, build the infrastructure accordingly together with them, and then also, as I said, build new skills that are needed and which we are talking about in a second here, looking at the sustainable energy system built on renewables. Having said that, I'm very happy to have a very interesting panel here for you, with several expertise here coming to the table. First of all, Stefan Krastev, Vice Mayor of Pernik, Bulgaria. He's claiming to come from the most ambitious Bulgarian coal municipality supporting the decarbonization. So we will hear about that in a second. Kristjan Adamlje from the Zasavje Just Transition Center, talking about how the just transition in the region in Slovenia is doing. Shira Stanton is program lead, local energy solutions at Beyond Fossil Fuels, looking at the potentials and the options of local renewable energy solutions. And last but not least, Massimo Marra, lead advisor at the Urban and Territorial Development Department at the European Investment Bank. He is leading Jasper's support in several countries and in regards to the Just Transition Mechanism. Having said that, now a deep dive into the four areas of expertise, the four panelists. So Stefan Krastev will be first. He is Deputy Mayor of Pernik, in charge of economy, municipal property, European integration, humanitarian affairs, and digitalization. A big portfolio to come, but specifically Stefan has been coordinating and managing actually European projects in a number of major UK vocational colleges and NGOs. He has also a background of being involved in several business projects in the fields of technology, education, and financial services. And now being the Deputy Mayor of Pernik, it's the first time in this as within such a job within the public administration. Stefan is responsible for the participation of Pernik in the EU Just Transition Mechanism, also for the development of the Territorial Just Transition Plan and related projects. So we are very glad to have you here, and over to you, Stefan.
Thank you, Carsten. Hello, everyone from sunny Pernik. I'm glad to be on this panel with you all. I'll start off with a short presentation about Pernik and then give you a bit of a background on the projects that we are realizing at the moment in line with the ambitions of the Just Transition Fund. So I'll start sharing my slides now. And let me just ask you, do you see all right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, perfect. By the way, an interesting fact is that this presentation has been shown also on the COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. Many things have changed since then, so it's been a bit upgraded. But basically, Pernik is located in the southwest coal region of Bulgaria. Pernik is the 10th biggest city of Bulgaria and is the place where industrial coal mining started in Bulgaria over 130 years ago. In certain times of history, it was the state mining company of Pernik Pernik that was responsible for all the coal mining activities in the whole of Bulgaria, including the Stara Zagora region, which lies hundreds of kilometers away from here. But exactly because we are the oldest and the most traditional coal region, it's very interesting for people always to hear that we have the most realistic approach towards the just transition and the Green Deal, and in general what is about to be happening to our regions. So let me just go on to the next slide. Hold on a tick. Yep. So as I said, Pernik is located in the southwest region of Bulgaria, not far away from the capital city, Sofia. From an energy perspective, the total coal reserves in Bulgaria are not estimated to be too big already. Our region, the Southwest Planning Region, is the most prosperous in Bulgaria for several reasons, mainly because the capital Sofia also lies in it. Our region is about 19% of the country, and of course is the most advanced region as a whole, but this is not necessarily the case for the sub-regions located within the southwest, such as Pernik and Kristjan regions, which are two of the three target regions for the just transition mechanism in Bulgaria. So the territory is about 20,000 square meters, population over 2 million, GDP per capita is approximately 15,000 euro, and according to the smart specialization strategy, the focus areas for our region are clean tech, circular and low carbon economy, mechatronics, industry for healthy lifestyle and biotech, informatics and ICT, and new technologies in the creative and recreative industries. And really all four coal sub-regions in the southwest of Bulgaria, after decades of prosperity, are facing some specific challenges. For Pernik, the economical challenges are not so great. Because first of all, Pernik is located close to the capital city, Sofia. Then it's also a relatively big city, so it has its labor, it has its manpower, so it attracts some foreign investment even in the moment. That's not necessarily the case for other coal regions, coal sub-regions located in the southwest. But Pernik has another very specific challenge that is that actually sets it apart from the other coal regions of Bulgaria. As I said, industrial coal mining started here more than 130 years ago, hence why we had the first power station in Bulgaria. And the first electric bulb was illuminated in Pernik, not in the capital, Sofia. Then afterwards, a new power station was built, which basically produces several things apart from electricity. It produces heat, which, fuels the district heating. So Pernik is the town in Bulgaria which is the most connected to district heating, not in absolute numbers, but percentage-wise. Approximately 20,000 households of our town are located to the district heating system, to which they rely for hot water and heating in winter. Not to mention that approximately all our public buildings, like public institutions, schools, kindergartens, social services, are also connected to the district heating. So some alternative needs to be found about that. And the economic profile of Pernik nowadays consists mostly of iron and steel industry, power and heat generation, machine building and metalworking, and very minimal amount of coal mining. In past, coal mining was what attracted people to Pernik and what made it really a city. Nowadays, in the coal mining industry, we have approximately not more than 2,000 people being employed. Again, when we speak about employment and economy, it's always, of course, a hot topic for people or sensitive topic for people. But I'd like to here stress on the fact that Bulgaria in the moment has historically the lowest level of unemployment in history. So ever since unemployment was recorded, in the moment it's the lowest level. The level of unemployment for Pernik municipality is 2% lower than the national one. This, of course, is again mainly due to two factors. One is the close proximity to the capital, Sofia, and the other one is because there is, a healthy amount of investment in Pernik and a healthy amount of employment available. Now, you can see some views of Pernik as it used to be in the past. I have a friend of mine who is actually a professor in a university, so he teaches about climatology, and we had a conversation recently, according to his words, if today's standards for air pollution were applied back in the 70s and 80s, have to be evacuated. Nowadays, of course, the situation is greatly improved, but we have still problems with fine dust particles and so on. In the moment, we have 4 open mines. As I said, they have minimum, how should I say, deposits left. We have the thermal power plant, which has 607 megawatt capacity, out of which 502 are for central heating and 105 is for electricity. And as I said before, during the 60s, for example, approximately 17,000 people were working in this industry. Now they're even less than 2,000. Pernik is improving, and we're looking forward to it becoming even a better place to live. But you can see some pictures of the current thermal power plant, which was privatized several decades ago and is in private hands. This, of course, gives certain challenges about investing public funds in it for renovation and so on. The private owner of the thermal power plant, however, has started investing some funds into gas cogenerations and so on. So nowadays, coal is not being used outside of the active heating season. So coal is being used only in winter, and in summer for the hot water for the households, only gas is being used. Mining has decreased greatly, but as I said, Pernik is developing in multiple ways, and in order to, how should I say, achieve the aspirations of the Just Transition Mechanism and the European Green Deal, we as a municipality, of course, have not stopped being active. It was in 2009 and beginning of 2020 when, thanks to the activity of our current mayor and the local government, Pernik was actually included as one of the target regions for the Just Transition Mechanism, because previously there were only 2, Kustendil and Stara Zagora. As you are probably aware, I mean, we have audience outside Bulgaria here, so it's probably good to mention it. Just Transition Fund is not yet open for applications here in Bulgaria because we only had the territorial Just Transition plans approved recently. We're expecting the Just Transition Fund to open for application in the second half of this year, which is very recent, and it will start with measures intended for, energy rejuvenation of public and private building, multiple households building, but also some investments in our new industrial zone, and of course, investments for retraining and reskilling of people. And to be honest with you, as I said, as a municipality, we haven't stopped playing an active part because change is inevitable, and we are very much aware that when you realize change is inevitable, then from your state of mind, it depends whether you're going to be an object or a subject of change, whether you're going to drive change in the best direction possible for your citizens, for your economy, and for the town you are living. That's the reason why from years ago, we have started working on various different projects and attracting various sources of funding to achieve the aspirations of the Green Deal until the Just Transition Fund opens and we can take advantage of it. Typical examples include, of course, modernization of public transport. We've run many projects with national and state funding for energy efficiency of public and private buildings. More interestingly so, we have a big project starting now aimed at the quality of air, where we're going to be able to replace the heating systems of all the households in our municipality. So that's not just the city, but the surrounding villages who are still using coal or wood and we're going to be able to give them healthy alternatives such as electric powered units such as air conditioning or thermal pumps or biomass. What's important here is that for the people who fall in the criteria of energy poverty, we also have a special measure included where they can have a photovoltaic system on their roof solely for their personal use, of course, to help them with the electricity. We have a large amount of funding available also from the environment program for rejuvenation of terrains which have been damaged due to mining activity, because they are considered as one of the main sources of finest particles. Also, the establishment of green walls and green areas around the city, and many other projects in that field. Probably one of the most interesting one to mention is that we have a few public buildings, schools and kindergartens, which are not connected to the district heating system because they lay in the tall areas of the city, and some of them are using diesel type of oil for heating. So for 3 of them, we have added hydrogen systems to the energy mix, which will greatly reduce their carbon footprint, and also, of course, reduce the expenses for heating. But apart from that, something very interesting that I can also share with you is the fact that recently we also submitted an application to the European City Facility, and it's a very interesting one because we heard the news just last week that we have been approved, and actually this will allow us to do a pre-feasibility study of approximately 100 buildings, housing buildings, multiple households, and we're going to research how we can actually get them to produce renewable energy from rooftop photovoltaics, and we'll establish something like an energy community with our industrial zones in town. So all surplus energy is intended to be supplied to industry in the course of this project, and the pre-feasibility study will cover approximately 30,000 square meters of public buildings as well, for deep renovation, integrated renewable energy generation and social impact investment. And the final step of this project would be to do a preliminary research to explore the implementation of a power to gas production facility to compensate for phasing out of the coal thermal power plant. So exciting things are happening our way, even without the Just Transition Fund. I'm sure that when it becomes available very soon, even more exciting news will come from Pernik to the world in relation to the European Green Deal. Thank you very much all for your attention. I'm here to answer any questions.
Great, Stefan, thank you so much. Yes, indeed, a call for questions in the chat, and maybe a quick one for you, also asking for a quick answer. You explained your activities on various fronts, but also the need to engage with private investors, in this case, maybe the thermal power plant. How are you facilitating this process? How do you engage businesses?
To be honest with you, you're asking, the $1 million question. It's a very important one because even at the European level, as you know, it was recognized that, more work needs to be put onto this. And attached to the Just Transition platform, there were 4 working groups established. One of them was 3 were energy sector specific ones: coal, steel industry, and then which I belong, is the horizontal stakeholder strategy. Because without putting everybody on the table who is, going to feel the effects of the Just Transition, you're not going to achieve success. To be honest with you, the municipality has been the most active actor in this process, and we work very well and very actively with the private businesses. So, for example, existing businesses who will probably be looking into enlarging their operations to absorb any free labor that goes on the market after the phasing out of coal. We're also working with the thermal power plant because, you know, okay, they're privately owned, but, you know, we can't pretend they're not there. I mean, they are here, and you know, they supply district heating for most of our town. So we're working well on them. We have a good working relationship, but also we're attracting other you know, stakeholders to the table, such as, for example, the non-government sector, also the youth sector. Recently, the managing committee, or how should I say, the supervisory committee of the Just Transition Fund for Bulgaria was established, and the regional one for Pernik region, we included not only, you know, the municipality, obviously, and the representatives of the trade unions and the NGO sector, but also our international youth center of Pernik, because involvement of young people in the Just Transition mechanism process is of a crucial and vital importance. So to put it short, we talk to everybody and we work well with everybody because this is the interest of our people in our town.
Great. Thank you so much. Then over to Kristjan. Kristjan is, as I said, coming from the Zasavje Just Transition Center. He works at the Regional Development Agency, where he is a member of the Just Transition and project teams, which oversees the center, which acts as a central information and coordination hub for transition activities in the region. Kristjan is spearheading the efforts of the region's energy transition and is coordinating a consortium aimed at establishing a hydrogen ecosystem at Zasavje. Over to you, Kristjan. I think you have prepared good practice from Slovenia, so happy to hear about them.
Yeah, hello everyone, and thank you, Carsten, for the kind introduction. Yeah, hopefully we are a good practice or good practice of just transition, and yeah, we are working hard on the process. So yeah, it's my pleasure to be here today to share some insights on the just transition process, which is already well underway in the Zasavje region.
Maybe just, Kristjan, for the purpose of people seeing your screen much better, if you could share it in presenter mode, then.
In presenter mode, okay. Okay. Okay, like this? Sorry. So,
we still see them in general, but then please continue. We would.
Or I can ask Aseniya if to share my presentation, maybe.
I can certainly do this, but maybe there is. Did you try with the presenter small button and it didn't work, or it is in the header row?
In the general.
In the header row, yes, at the top of your screen, next to the arrows. But if you feel more convenient, I can. Okay, I will start sharing. If
maybe.
You could, yeah,
maybe that would be the best.
Okay, just give me a second, and I will share it in a moment. You must start seeing it.
Yeah.
And can you see it in presenters mode? In presenters mode, yes. Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Kristjan.
So I just say next, and you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So welcome to the Zasavje Just Transition, and yeah, let's dive right in. Please next. And another next, please. Yeah. So the Zasavje region, also known as Central Sava, by NUTS3 classification, is located in the heart of Slovenia, so to speak. It is the smallest region by both population and surface area among the 12 Slovenian regions, and it consists of 4 municipalities. Those are Hrastnik, Litija, Trbovlje, and Zagorje ob Savi. Next, please. And of course, Zasavje is known for its coal mining and industry and energy production. So brown coal extraction has been a significant operation in the region for the past 2 centuries. And this coal was primarily used to power a large thermal power plant in the municipality of Territorial with a capacity of 215 megawatts. And this infrastructure played a crucial role in the rapid development of the region. Please, 2 times next. So coal mining, this largest chimney in Europe, in our region, is part of thermoelectric power plant. And next. And this infrastructure, of course, supported the growth of also related industries, such as the glassworks industry, which remains active in the region to this day and has been advancing ever since. Next, please. Yeah, and next, please. Yes, thank you very much. So in 1999, a referendum regarding the construction of the 3rd block of thermal power plant was implemented in the region. So to expand the energy production in the region took place, and it was unsuccessful. The people said no more of this heavy industry. So with this action, or with this milestone, the regional phase out of coal actually began, the first phase. This was followed by the adoption of the law for the closure of the main mine. So main mine was Territorial mine. And this law also stated that the economic restructuring of the region should be done. By 2013, the mine was closed, and the following year, also the operations of the thermal power plant ceased. Next, please. Yeah, after that, the region was faced with severe socioeconomic challenges. In the process of closing these mines, 5,000 jobs were lost, which represented 20% of all jobs in the region. So the consequences in the region included also depopulation, unsustainable demographic patterns, unused degraded areas, migration, daily commuting out of the region, brain drain, and more and more and more. And despite substantial amount of funds being available to support transition at the time, this first phase was unsuccessful. The first phase of the transition was unsuccessful. So please go on. Next slide, please, Aseniya. So in 2060, municipalities established a new regional development agency, which is now a public body and is all owned by all 4 municipalities, and the main and for the purpose to manage regional development. Next, please. And a newly formed team of professionals of the agency took the initiative to include Zasavje in just transition mechanism. And this process began in 2018 with proactive participation in the EU platform for coal regions in transition. Next, please. So, we are 1 slide short, but yeah, I just want to say that, yeah, now we are part of the Just Transition Mechanism, which is a part of European Green Deal. We are happy to be funded to advance our transition towards away from coal. Next slide, please. Okay, here's this overview of joining the Just Transition Mechanism. So 2018, participation in the platform for coal regions. Next, please. In 2019, we received technical assistance for restructuring Zasavje and also the Saša region, which is the 2nd eligible region from Slovenia for Just Transition Fund. And this technical assistance was provided to prepare action plan and subsequently territorial just transition plan for the transitioning of the Zasavje region. Next, please. Okay, in this process, we established a close partnership with National Institute of Chemistry. I will tell you more about this later. Next, please. So this is this action plan and territorial just transition plan of Zasavje. And that was all done. Next, please. And this process concluded with the establishment of the Just Transition Center at the Regional Development Agency that I am a part of now. Next, please. So our Territorial Just Transition Plan has four priority areas. So low carbon energy production, sustainable economy, targeted education, and transport interconnectivity. Next, please. And based on this territorial plan, our region became eligible for 75 million euros to transition the region away from coal. Next, please. So the Regional Development Agency was positioned as the main information and support hub for the just transition in the region. And that we accomplished that with the establishment of the Zasavje Just Transition Center, and also as a relevant representative in the governance of the Just Transition mechanism in Slovenia. Next, please. So I'm pleased to announce that the first project funded by the Just Transition Fund are already underway in our region. So these are three projects, all three of strategic importance. The first one is the Demonstration and Training Center for Carbon-Free Technologies. So it's established by National Institute of Chemistry. So this is going to be the first public research high-tech institution in our region to advance this transition. So this project is already underway. The second one is Economic Business Zone Kisovets 2. So this is to build economic zone and to equip it with all the infrastructure to advance the business development in this area. And a business incubator in Hrastnik. So these three great projects already underway. Next, please. Yeah, and here is a quick overview for of open and closed calls by the Just Transition Fund for our region. So the first one was direct confirmation of this national chemistry project. So Demonstration and Training Center for Low Carbon Technologies. So under this call, one project is already approved and underway. Next, please. And there was a call for economic business infrastructure in the in the scope of 7.5 million, and we have this one project already underway. So this economic business zone Kisovets 2. Next, please. It was followed by call for incubators, already one project underway. This is a business incubator in Hrastnik. Next, please. And now we are very happy that Ministry of Economic Development and Technology published the call for productive investment in the scope of 25 million euros for all the companies in our region, so small and large companies. So now these funds are available for the economic sector as well, and we are very looking forward to see what kind of projects are going to be applied on this call. So next, please. R&D innovation call is it's announced, and we are expecting it shortly. So with this call, the innovation and research is going to be advanced. Next, please. 3 times the next, please. Now. Okay, and 3 calls are under preparation. So requalification and skills enhancement by Ministry of Labor, Family, Social Affairs and Equal Opportunities. New approaches in education by Ministry of Education, Science and Sport, and under Ministry of the Environment and Spatial Planning, we are expecting a call for production units for renewable energy. Next, please. So overall, to summarize, out of the total approximately 75 million euros, 62 million euros has already been allocated. This means 83% of all the funds for the Zasavje region were made available to eligible beneficiaries through calls for tenders. Additionally, 41 of the funds, that means 30 million, have already been assigned to operations, and 8 million or 11% of all the funds has already been reimbursed. So We are very happy to see these numbers, and we are looking forward to see also the change, the increase of funds reimbursed and spent. Next. Yeah, so let it be enough of the funds, calls, and project, and let me show you some pictures of our activities in the region. So these are pretty much activities of the Zasavje Just Transition Center and the co-governance part. So just please, Aseniya, next. And this is an event for governance. Next, visiting our great, our best practices in economic center. Next, here is where this demonstration and training center of carbon-free technology is going to be built. Next, please. This is our portal, our web page. Next. We're visiting the Netherlands to learn about circular economy, because this year is a circular economic year in the Zasavje region. Next. This is also Netherlands, yeah. Next. And some workshops are taking place, are going on in our region on the circular economy area. So we are building circular business models. Yeah, next. This is some innovative way to capture minutes, to build minutes after the workshop. Next. Here's another example of good practice learning about good practices on the educational field. So next, please. Some activities in Brussels with our mayors and our political representatives there. Next. The tallest chimney in Europe. That's how it's look if you're underneath. And yeah, next. And one of the largest solar power plants in Slovenia is also here in our region. And we are very proud of that. Next. And here are the first certified project managers for Just Transition project managers. Yeah. Okay. So this will be all from my side. Please, yeah, check our web page. Next, please. Our theme is, this is the new story of Zasavje, and if we put the whole thing in one sentence, the Just Transition of Zasavje is a strategic program aimed at transforming Zasavje from a traditional core area into a competitive, high-tech and low-carbon region. And you can check this web page, and we are inviting you also to check our promotional video. I think the links are going to be in the chat. Thank you, Valeria, in advance, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, thank you very much, Kristjan. So this was very insightful for taking us through the journey of your development. Remarkable that this all started with a public vote, against fossil fuels,
exactly.
or at least a statement for change, which can be quite difficult, as you were explaining, but you inspired us to continue the journey, and now I think there are lots of projects in the pipeline, very promising. So indeed, check out the website. The link will be shared in a second, also to be inspired. Going into the next element of our journey of today, I would very much like to welcome here again Shira Stanton, Program Lead for Local Energy Solutions at Beyond Fossil Fuels, actually an inspiring NGO that really provides us with lots of arguments. So let's listen closely to Shira. Shira is the program lead connecting various campaigning areas that involve locally relevant actors such as SMEs, municipalities, renewable energy companies, and those that are striving against coal and gas. She has previously worked at Greenpeace International and has here addressed structural causes of climate and biodiversity crisis. Shira, over to you. And maybe one before you go, there is one question, Kristjan, waiting for you in the Q&A, and I'm inviting you again for everyone to use the Q&A. In the meantime, where people are not presenting, you can still receive your answers. So let's use this webinar as effective as possible. With that, without further ado, Shira, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carsten. Thank you for that introduction. Can everybody see my screen okay in presenter mode?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Hi, everybody. I am going to first introduce Beyond Fossil Fuels, who we are, what we do. Then I'm going to let you know about some tools that we provide to track European-wide progress on renewable energy and how that can help you with your local level work. Then I'm going to talk about some work that we've been doing with municipalities and provide various examples of how localities have gone from fossil fuels to renewable energy and the benefits that that has brought them. Beyond Fossil Fuels is a European towards a fair and sustainable renewables-based European electricity sector that is predominantly powered by wind and solar energy and free of fossil fuels by 2035. This means phasing out coal by 2030 and fossil gas by 2035. We used to be called Europe Beyond Coal, and we have made tremendous progress since 2016, as most European countries have committed to exit coal before 2030. But we changed to include fossil gas in our remit, thus the name Beyond Fossil Fuels, to avoid a conversion from coal to gas in many other countries. Beyond Fossil Fuels supports and coordinates work with civil society groups working across the European continent, including the European Union, the Western Balkans, Turkey, the UK, Norway, Switzerland, Moldova, and Ukraine. So that's who we are. Now let's look at where we are. We have come so far, and we should celebrate what we have accomplished. This is a chart from our partner, the think tank Ember, doing excellent analysis on the renewable energy transition. This shows that almost a third of Europe's electricity was generated from wind and solar this past April, the highest share ever recorded for wind and solar combined for a single month. Overall, the share of fossil fuels in Europe's electricity generation fell to its lowest monthly level, also in April, accounting for less than a quarter of Europe's electricity, a decrease of almost 25% compared to April of last year. This means that wind and solar overtook fossil generation in Europe for the first full month ever. So we are going in the right direction, and we know that our goals are achievable. And after we celebrate, we need to get back to work because there is still a lot more to do. I'm going to now show you a few tools that you can find on our website. Our strength as a European-wide campaign helps local level work by bringing in the broader perspective. It's helpful to see the trends across Europe to understand how to take action at the local level. For example, to see trends of money being wasted in what are clearly going to become stranded assets. Here on the screen, you can see how we track the closure of coal plants across Europe on our website. This is one of the most comprehensive databases of Europe's coal plants available. You can use this to get details about Europe's worst emitting plants, the damage they do to people's health, which countries have committed to a 2030 phase out, and more. What is noticeable on this dashboard is that of the 144 coal plants that still must be retired, 12 of them do not have a retirement date in countries that have actually committed to phasing out coal by 2030. And let's be clear, government commitments are essential because they send a clear political signal to energy companies, businesses and investors, to municipalities, and to citizens about the future of a country's power system. These commitments help reduce the cost of capital, mobilize finance, and give clarity about the lifetime of polluting assets, supporting a just and timely retirement. When a government makes a pledge, it is considered official government policy. You can follow these commitments with our government commitment tracker, also on our website. Similarly to coal, our gas plant tracker and database also show the challenge we are facing. Almost none of the gas power plants currently open or under construction have a retirement date. So after that bad news, we all know what we need to do. We need to speed up the growth of wind and solar. Europe needs to deploy wind and solar 2.5 times faster than we are currently doing between now and 2030 in order to be on track towards a renewables-led full fossil fuel exit by 2035. So Rather than throw some more numbers at you, I want to now turn to some examples of what we at Beyond Fossil Fuels, together with municipalities, are doing to speed up the pace of renewables deployment. Municipalities play a crucial role in our energy transition. Beyond Fossil Fuels works with municipalities so that they can put their efforts where they can make the most difference. For example, we created a checklist for municipalities on 6 quick steps they can take to support the energy transition, along with 6 benefits of doing so. After publishing these steps, our coalition in Turkey met with different municipalities to talk further. These roundtables were really helpful to figure out what the authorities needed to implement these steps. For example, a lawyer to draft the text needed to make solar installations mandatory on new roofs and gradually on existing roofs and renovations. This is something that our coalition undertook for the benefit of all municipalities. The meetings between our coalition and municipal authorities also enabled obstacles to be identified, such as getting connected to the grid. This helped direct civil society coalition towards where our own campaigning efforts would make the most difference, while also establishing constructive working relations among various sorts of stakeholders. So not only was the checklist itself helpful for municipalities, but the relationships between municipal authorities and civil society it helped cultivate have already been fruitful and show great promise for future cooperation. Then, after Turkey, together with the Polish Green Network, we built on this work by adapting the municipality checklist to the Polish context. With a focus on community energy and what needs to change to support more of it in Poland, we created a checklist centering the role of municipalities in empowering communities to take an active role in Poland's energy transition, fostering the development and growth of energy cooperatives. This report also provides various case studies on municipalities around Poland on their efforts to support energy cooperatives. If you think these checklists would be useful in your area, please do get in touch. We would be happy to work with you on developing something that meets your needs. So, as we were doing this work with municipalities, we realized that there are so many success stories out there, and they're not always easy to find. They're buried in reports that get lost on websites of organizations that maybe we have no idea about. And also, as we were working, we understood that the answers are out there. There is no wheel that we need to reinvent. We just need to make sure each actor finds the wheel that best suits their terrain. And thus, our solutions map was conceived. We are still in the gestation stage and are looking forward to welcoming it to the world in about a month's time. On your screen is a prototype of the map. It will look different when we launch. This will be a database with the map to find how others have deployed renewable solutions. Not all solutions need to be creative or infrastructurally magnificent. Something as boring as a municipality simplifying the permitting process can make a huge difference in how fast we can deploy. The idea for this map is that you can search for practical examples of how a mayor got solar panels on public buildings to benefit their residents, or renewable energy projects that are specifically meant to benefit vulnerable communities or the energy security of local businesses. The examples provide a brief summary of what was done, along with a link to further information, thus also boosting traffic to our partners and allies doing this crucial work of analyzing these cases in reports and articles. For example, if you are interested in solutions in former coal sites, which I guess we all are in this webinar, you will be able to search by fossil fuel site conversion or just transition regions. This will bring up examples like this pictured coal-fired power plant that was converted into heat storage in a mining region in North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany, which saves surplus electricity from renewables. You can also focus your search in regions you think would be more relevant to your own context. So instead of Germany, maybe an example from Scotland in a former coal site would be more helpful. In this example, the Blacklaw wind farm created jobs for almost 2,000 construction workers and technical support staff. Or an example from Spain in a former coal site, where the Castilla and Leon region used the European Globalization and Adjustment Fund for ending coal and lignite mining. The region leveraged the financial support they received to retrain former coal workers and young job seekers for employment in the clean energy sector. Kozani in Greece is another good example. Once Greece's largest coal region, Kozani is transitioning to renewables with the development of a 204 megawatt solar park, part of a projected 3 gigawatt of solar installations. Energy communities play a vital role in the shift fostering social acceptance and enjoying benefits like reduced energy costs and cleaner environments. Our solutions map will provide so many more examples like these, enabling you to search by type of technology or where the renewable energy is located, among many other categories. For example, if you want a very specific example of how a municipality managed to get out of debt after their residents voted to build a wind turbine in their area, you could use the search categories of public participation, or boosting local economy, or employment, jobs, and skills creation, or benefit sharing. The really cool thing about renewables is that they are often a solutions multiplier. They address more issues in society than simply the source of energy. We would love to hear from you. What sort of examples are you looking for to adapt to your municipality? What sort of aspects are important to you as you search for good examples? And we want to celebrate the work that you have done. Do you have a success story in deploying renewables in your area? We would love to put it in our map so that others can learn from you. The examples do not have to be creative. We also like the boring, successful ones as well. For example, do not underestimate the importance of figuring out how to leverage public funds to hire one more person so you can have a one-stop shop for your residents. Same goes for how you ensure that your community received tangible benefits from the wind farm that was developed in your region through fair negotiations with the developer. Other municipalities will want to know how you did it. We want to share it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Shira. This was very inspiring, and I see people are very interested in seeing the map and atlas. Some resources have been shared already in the chat. Maybe you can attend to the question that has been posted now. But we have so far done a journey from looking at core regions, being inspired by projects, and now getting actually more stories of how this can be done. So this is extremely important, as it is a process which is not from today to tomorrow, but actually a longer journey. However, you also emphasized the public commitment is extremely important, a clear phase out also to gas. And here, just to announce it again, you are calling for a gas exit by 2035. So with your stories, I think this might be and should be possible. So again, an invite for everyone to take a look at. Nevertheless, also this needs to be funded. And here I turn to the last speaker of today, Massimo Marra. He is lead advisor at the European Investment Bank and responsible for the coordination of the EIB Jaspers capacity building and cross-sectorial advisory activities, which include also climate and environmental matters. He's also acting as Jaspers country manager for Bulgaria, Malta, Slovenia, and is an alternating country manager for Italy. He has more than 25 years of experience in long-term investment advisory and finance acquired as executive and manager within the European Commission, international management consultancy firms, and now at the European Investment Bank. Massimo, the floor is yours. Thank you for enlightening us on the financial side. What's in the Just Transition mechanism.
Thanks a lot, Carsten, and good afternoon for those in Sofia, and good morning to everybody else. Sofia in Bulgaria. It's indeed a very interesting presentation. I hope you hear me well. Very, very inspiring indeed to hear from the colleagues. As you said, I'm also responsible for the relations with both Bulgaria and Slovenia, so I'm certainly aware of the challenges and what is being done. Just let me try to, I prepared just a few slides for everybody to have a visual to look at, and I hope it will work well. Let me see. Okay, can you see it's coming? All right, let me just make sure. All right, I hope you see a single slide. Maybe actually what I like to do today is also to give a little bit of an overview of our effort in supporting the just transition. The EIB is, as also Aseniya was mentioning at the start, the largest multilateral development bank. The world is the EU bank, and in fact, since 2020, we also give ourselves the challenge to become and be in the climate bank. And that is actually in a reality since 2021. Actually in 2020, the climate roadmap to become, the roadmap to become the climate bank was approved by our governing bodies. The support to just transition builds firmly into this. The challenges and the objectives the EIB has put itself is to finance 1 trillion of euros, or to trigger the financing and implementation 1 trillion euros until 2030 is there, and we're on track to achieve it. For those that are interested, there was recently published a mid-review of this policy, who confirmed that the policy is relevant, and it is the EIB response indeed to the Green Deal of the European Commission. Now, turning to the Just Transition Mechanism, as you all know, the Just Transition Mechanism is an instrument that was put together at European level to support transition to a low-carbon economy. The EIB is actually covering the 3 pillars, in particular Pillar 1, the Just Transition Fund, but also Pillar 2 and Pillar 3. So Pillar 2, those that are relevant for the so-called InvestEU funds, and Pillar 3, particularly the EIB is the main financier and for the public sector loan facility, which is also addressed to investment in public sector operations with a component of EC grants that can be mobilized. So in the slides you see on top the financing support. Yeah, the EIB finance all the 3 pillars in projects that can actually be co-financed under the Just Transition Fund in the form of structural programs, framework loans. I will not enter into the technicalities. But also we support all the countries to develop financial instruments utilizing this funding. The Pillar 2 is mostly focused on innovation, so private sector and innovative public sector investment. But again, can finance projects that are related to the subject we're discussing today, not only green and sustainable infrastructure. Today we speak a lot about energy and energy transition, but also the other aspects, let's say innovation, social infrastructure, support to SME and microfinance can also be covered under Pillar 2. And the Pillar 3 is actually, as I said, mostly focused to those activities that are impacting on the regions that are experiencing this challenging task to decarbonize in terms of public sector activities. Now, what I wanted also to mention is this is complemented with support in terms of the so-called EIB advisory services. We have several mandates. We cover all the aspects of the 3 pillars, in particular the Pillar 1. I'm also part of this facility, which is jointly organized together with the European Commission. It's called JASPERS. And that's we are the main advisor on specific activities in the context of the Just Transition Fund. However, with colleagues, we also cooperate and work in the other 2 pillars. Just to say, I said it. JASPERS is an activity, is an initiative that is active since 2026. We work across the EU and also outside of the EU. And basically, the characteristic is that we provide free of charge, independent advice on the preparation of projects, but also in preparation for their implementation and support in building the capacity. As a colleague, as Mr. Krastev for Pernik said, we're also working in the 2 countries that we're representing. I'll give you more details a little bit in the following slide. Just to say that the way we can support the counterparts and the regions that are undergoing the transition is quite wide. We cover pretty much the overall project cycle, starting from the need assessment down to preparation of implementation, including eventually supporting building up monitoring systems. Carsten, you mentioned in your opening that is quite important to establish a monitoring system to check what the implementation is doing and where it's going and eventually adjust. I think we fully subscribe to this. These are the various type of support we can provide, and without going too much into detail, maybe just a few examples. The experience we have started already since the call for regions in transition that was mentioned by Kristjan, and that evolved into the Just Transition Fund support. Like until now, the truth is what we see is that there has been quite a lot of support requested on our side on the preparation of project pipelines, on the transition, let's say, from the agreed just transition plans to the identification of potential projects that can be financed to this. We are currently working in 11 member states. In other member states, we work with colleagues. Just to give you some example of the type of activities that we're actually putting in place in various countries. I mean, this ranges, let's say, when we look at project development, not horizontal subject, but to the support, to the transfer, the transition from production of heat from fossil fuel to geothermal for district heating, for example, in Kozice, in Slovakia. We're working in Slovenia already in the other region that was not presented today, in the Saleška Valley, in the Sacha region, for the renovation and decarbonization of the district heating system. We have discussions also, of course, with both regions to further provide support and build capacities. In Croatia, we are supporting, for example, an industrial project that is aiming at switching from coal to renewable and carbon storage. In the Czech Republic, which has been quite active over the last year and a half, we are supporting the authorities in reviewing 30 main strategic projects. They have a budget of roughly, if I recall correctly, 4 billion euros that will be dedicated to main strategic projects co-funded by the Just Transition Fund, and we'll be accompanying the authorities in the review and basically appraisal of this main strategic project. And a subject that was actually already mentioned by some of the speakers that is actually coming up quite a lot is how to implement renewable energy communities. This type of initiative is certainly relevant in the Just Transition mechanism set up, but is also actually potentially financeable from other EU fund sources. So this is certainly a subject that we are looking at in more detail. We have some pilot. One is in Bulgaria, and then the other one is in Italy. But indeed, we will progressively support further this type of intervention in other member states. What is complementing the activities in project is what we have as a key mandate for us, agreed with the European Commission for this programming period, which is the transfer of knowledge, building the capacity, and the dissemination of methodological aspects that are relevant for the preparation of EU co-funded projects, which are often co-funded by the EIB. So we have already implemented some activities in relation in particularly on state aid. This has been quite a subject because several countries and several counterparts are facing difficulties on how to deal with it. We have dedicated activities in countries like the Czech Republic and Greece. But together with the European Commission, we're also fostering a program of knowledge sharing at EU level, where basically we bring at the same table different countries involved and interested in specific subjects that are relevant across the board. Now, maybe just a few reflections on the experience on so far. We are in 2024, so 3 years into the implementation of the so-called programming period. We saw a takeoff indeed in the activity between last year and this year. The plans, which are the precondition and the first step of the programming, were basically adopted between 2022 and 2023. Bulgaria reached this milestone in December 2023. In fact, now is really the time to move to implementation, keeping in mind the deadlines that these funds are coming with, which is spending the available funds by 2026. In this respect, we see that we have quite a lot of requests for support, both in advisory and then slowly also picking up in terms of co-financing. The needs are quite wide and wide-ranging. It depends a little bit on the level, on the stage of development of these processes in the various member states, and it ranges from a review of early project ideas down to project preparation and evaluation, to projects that are almost ready to go. The challenge is indeed identifying projects. Identified projects can be financed by these funds and can eventually be co-funded by the European Investment Bank. There is also slowly taking up a reasoning what can actually be financed through grants and what actually would eventually make sense to be financed, taking into consideration possibly longer tenures and that financing. I mentioned the three pillars. This comes with different, if you want, grant level. Of course, we see most of the member states have been concentrated on the first pillar, but most of the grants are sitting. But indeed, increasingly, we're also asked for support in deciding the allocation of the projects that have been identified to the different pillars. I think this is quite important because anyway, the Just Transition Fund will not suffice to fully cover the challenges ahead. In many countries, there is a large allocation to the Just Transition Fund, but still at this stage it's actually a good idea to see strategically where different projects can be sitting depending on the various form of financing and advisory related to this. And in this context, we see that indeed the demand for the other two pillars, where less grants are sitting, is slowly taken up. But it is also in particular on the pillar related to the public sector loan facility. And I would like just to give you a quick overview of this facility. So in fact, the facility, as you know, this is the slide is focused on the advisory part that we can provide, but the public sector loan facility is actually addressing projects that are related to public operations, but they are relevant for activities in the transition regions. It comes with a possibility to ask to the EIB co-financing for the project, and this is a prerequisite for accessing a level of grants that is decided through a process that is managed together with the European Commission. There are a number of extra support besides funding that are indicated in these slides. That comes from initial light advisory, like initial guidance on how to identify projects that can actually be relevant for the facility, to some light support in preparing the grant applications, down to specific direct advisory to promoters and potential borrowers of the EIB to prepare the project. And ultimately, what we're also providing as the EIB is a number of indirect advisory support by creating standardized advisory packages that can actually be quickly delivered to whoever might be interested. And we have some example also in supporting the selection of potential beneficiaries and scoping in close coordination with the countries that are actually aiming at using this facility and to approach the European Commission for some grant funding. This is a brief overview. You will see the slides with my context. So indeed, I'm not the only one who is working on these matters within the EIB. And I'll just stop sharing so that I see you. So, but in any case, you would please feel free to ask questions or reach out. In any case, together with the the colleagues at the office in Sofia for those that are in Bulgaria, but with the other colleagues for the other countries, we are available to provide any further information. Carsten, I give you back the floor. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Massimo. Inviting you to use the Q&A section or the chat. Massimo, you explained that you are active, the EIB is active in 11 member states and with quite a variation of a portfolio or looking at different projects. Are you making this information accessible to others to be inspired? Okay, this country or this municipality is looking into a case for solar thermal renovation or all kinds of applications of renewable energy. Are you sharing this information, the portfolio of projects that you are supporting in a bit more detail?
Yes, I mean, the information is there, is out there. As I said, we're increasingly focusing on making sure the information, but also the awareness and the capacities is improved. I mean, the information flows and good examples can actually be shown as potential replicable intervention. The 11 countries are those where we work under the Just Transition Fund, but we work in other countries also. So I think the total it's 14 at the moment. I think at the EIB level, we're planning a publication of a mid-review of the support to the Just Transition Mechanism, which will also come with some examples, and this is planned for the months to come. But on our side, indeed, we aim at having more knowledge sharing, more activities in sharing potential good practices or project examples. And I will put in the link website where we actually advertise this type of activity so that everybody that is interested can eventually reach out and attend. But so we can certainly improve also the way we present this activity. And I take note, actually, thanks for the question, Carsten. I think it's one of the points I will take back with me after this webinar. So I will put some links. I mean, they are also on the slide. Please feel free to reach in case you have any specific questions.
Thank you, Massimo. Message understood as well. Great. Then maybe as we are concluding, Stefan, what is your next project that you will finance, maybe through the EIB as funding is available? Any other message that you took from this interaction here of this session?
Yeah, basically, Carsten, yeah, you can hear me all right, yeah? Fantastic. Yes, it was very interesting, the presentation from the EIB, but it's not the first time I hear this information, of course. I'd like to mention that the European City Facility that I spoke about, that we're looking into energy cooperatives and ultimately power to gas, is only a preliminary phase, and after this we'll be reaching out to the European Investment Bank for funding and extra expert support. We've put together an investment program into energy efficiency measures of approximately 60 million euro, and of course we'll need the support of the bank to achieve its aspirations. But as I said, the European City Facility project, a small project, is really the project about doing the study until we reach out to the EIB. Otherwise, I've had multiple conferences with colleagues of Massimo in the past, and we've discussed exciting opportunities for Pernik. But of course, we have to have something concrete on paper as a study to step on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So here a message to everyone: don't stand still. Nevertheless, the Just Transition Mechanism or the funds are not yet accessible in Bulgaria. There are other opportunities. The European City Facility is one, but shortly in the next half of the year, funds are available. And that brings me to the question to Kristjan. Actually, there is a tension between applying for deadlines which are tight and then nevertheless involving as many stakeholders as possible, and having prepared a good case which is actually also locally supported for the local benefits to be shared. Kristjan, how are you organizing yourself to do so?
Yeah, this is a very important part of the process where we providing the information, and we are talking to our potential investors before the calls are published. So this process is on the one hand we are communicating with the ministries, and the other hand we are communicating with the potential beneficiaries, and this is very delicate communication. But it is very important that our potential investors from the region know what kind of goals they need to achieve with their projects, and what are the main goals of a just transition process in the Zasavje region. So our main goal is creating new jobs, green jobs with a high added value. So we prepared our economy sector for this call, for example, and now they are very well equipped with all the necessary information they need to build good projects. So this is for the economy sector, and for the municipalities and for the National Institute of Chemistry, there was similar communication.
Great, Kristjan. Then over to Shira. Concluding words from your side. You were listening to, a regional development agency, a bank, and a municipality, all going for the transition. You have shared good practice, but maybe on a strategic side, what are you advising for them to do altogether?
Altogether, I would say don't feel the need to reinvent the wheel. Somebody has already solved the problem that you are facing, maybe in a different context, but they have solved that problem. Find them and figure out what they did, and then figure out how to adapt it to your region. Don't think that you need to start from scratch. The solutions are there, and we look forward to sharing our solutions map in about a month.
Great. Thank you, Shira. Then I would like to conclude, first of all, by thanking the panelists, and I've taken lots of notes here with me. I think you did as well, but I think some highlights here from all four of them. So Stefan pointed and advocated for not being the object, but the subject of change. Diversifying the local economy, the employment for a better quality of life in the framework of strategically planning for the climate neutrality, using also funds which are already available now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Kristjan allocated that it is or advocated that it is a long process to go a stony road potentially, but actually persistence is very important. Starting, continuing, and in this case also involving different stakeholders jointly. In this case, regional development agencies supported by 4 municipalities, now being part of the just transition mechanism. Using its opportunities, the technical assistance which was mentioned, now looking into several projects which are going to be funded. Shira has inspired us with a tool to come to access, not to reinvent the wheel, but actually the municipal checklists, also to see 6 benefits, in 6 steps. That is something which we have shared here in the chat, which I invite you also to look at already. And last but not least, Massimo, with the sharing of the possibilities of a advice, a free advice for preparing the funding applications here as an important step to go. With that, I would like to share just the last slides. If Aseniya could share them, I think you can see here. We have heard, and you are maybe find you on the map in different colors, that there are European regions, core regions in transition are in various stages of transition and actually also socioeconomic risks. There is a lot of studies. Take your arguments. Don't be scared. There are lots of solutions upcoming. Next slide, please. And actually, what I found very inspiring from this webinar is also to share and see what other regions, cities, stakeholders are doing. You have the opportunity here at the annual political dialogue, not only to meet Kristjan and me, but many other people coming to Velenje in Slovenia on the 11th and 12th of July in person, going to study tours and looking into exciting possibilities, options, changes that regions can undertake. Next slide. In person, better than online, but also the online possibility is there for you to attend this webinar, but this exciting annual political dialogue. But in person, there are many benefits here, which you can see going there. Last slide. There are many knowledge products available. Also, links are now shared in the chat that you can access. Different toolkits have been prepared for core regions in transition, particularly on district heating, on green skills, for instance, and many others. So I'm inviting you with this slide and the last slide, the next slide, to continue on this firework of different resources that are available for you to plan your transition strategically, implement and monitor and make sure that the benefits the community is holding for the future is actually receiving them. So in that sense, thank you so much for attending this wonderful online session. Use the resources that are available, use the insights that you have gained, and I'm looking forward to meeting you either in Velenje or at the next online session here or in a different format. So thank you so much. Have a good day and stay tuned and continuing the just transition. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.